And welcome back, everybody, to our playthrough of Pokémon Colosseum. Uh, you'll be happy to know, well, you might be indifferent to know, that there's been a little bit of a change here. For one, we're not in the room anymore because of woke. And unfortunately, we've had to adapt to those situations. So what I've done is, I have taken the baton here for this playthrough. I have replicated our session of Pokemon Colosseum. Same Pokemon, almost the same captures. I think I'm down one, or rather, I have caught something else as opposed to something else that we had in the original playthrough. But it is a Pokemon that was going to be in our top 6 anyway, so it's all the one. So yeah, we're back up to exactly where we were after catching and healing Entei of his woes. So in case you're watching this on the full playthrough or on the playlist and you see a few changes in levels and stuff like that, that's probably why. But content-wise, pretty much the same as we left off all those months ago.
So, we have made friends with Entei again.
We have made friends with Entei, yes, that's done.
So, Jonathan, I wonder, does this give you any idea as to what we might expect from the next boss fights in the remainder of this game?
Well, considering that in fairly quick succession I encounter a second one, yes, I do, James. It's funny you should say that. It kind of I sensed the pattern, if I do say so myself. I was just shocked that Moltres was the next one. You know, so just there. Well, this game really does have a weird obsession with fire Pokemon, but you know, I'm into it. I can dig it.
I mean, it is America and it's vaguely set in, Western America, and it's always fire. So yeah,
that's true. Actually, yeah. I mean, what this lush green Florida-like area is missing is a good wildfire.
But no, I think genuinely this region is the Aura region, and it's supposed to be based off Arizona.
Yeah, I think it's Arizona is definitely what kind of came across, especially just in the overall aesthetic of the place. If you just tell me Wild West, I just kind of that's fair. I totally buy that. And it was a time when they didn't necessarily do anything along those lines, because this would have been Gen 3, and it was still Gen 3 is still pretty much based in Japan. They don't really get brave enough to leave Japanese shores until they do Gen 5, where everything is Americanized.
Yeah. So, when was the last time we were actually in a Japan region?
Well, if you put Legends Arceus, I suppose.
Yeah, but that's in the past.
That is true, actually, yeah. I suppose Gen 4 is actually the last time it would be Sinnoh, because would have been Unova, then Kalos, then Alola. Then you would have had England. I can't remember the name of the area, but you know what I mean.
Oh, it's the Irish for disease. It's Galar.
Oh, Galar. There we go. Perfect. I knew it had something to do with the Brits, but I just couldn't remember. But then we had and then we had the most recent one as well. So so they haven't gone back to Japan in quite some time. They're on a bit of a European boat at the minute.
European bent for the minute, but I'd say that will pass as well.
Eventually, I mean, they've got plenty of other areas in the world to go to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I would wonder, will America get another look in, or is America going to be, they'll only show Unova, and that's all America is going to be?
Well, I kind of figured that Unova was kind of New York and New York adjacent. Just considering the city itself, it's obviously New York. So if you're going New York, New Jersey as the Unova area, then you kind of got plenty of other options there, haven't you? If you wanted to there is a kind of a thought process there. If you wanted to go area specific, but not really, you could do a black and white 3, but not have it in exactly Unova, but have it somewhere other part of America.
Yeah.
But look, they've got tons of options, and they've already got enough projects on the go at the moment. So maybe we'll wait until they finish off one of them first before we start fantasy booking. But at least France is getting another look in, because X and Y I don't think really did them justice.
I would wonder and this is kind of like a way bit early in the video to jump into this now, but how are we going to track the region? Like every other one we've like had, this is the Hisui region, this is the Galar region, this is the... For any new Kalos findings, they're not going to be the Kalos, like let's say Jinx gets an evolution. Is it going to be the Lumiosian version, or is it going to be the Khaleesi version?
Hard to say, isn't it? Like, I don't know if whether like they, like, I don't think they did. Like, again, I was kind of proven wrong with the most recent gen, and they did do kind of regional variants. Maybe not to the same extent, but they still did them anyway, because they had more like convergent species and stuff like that, which I think is more kind of like, I guess true to actual biology in a way. And I think they're more likely to do like mega evolutions and custom mega stuff like that, because it would kind of track more with the kind of whole fact that like it is a little bit futuristic. It's a little bit after the events of X and Y, so who's to say that not that more mega stones haven't been discovered since, and therefore these guys can now mega evolve, or they kind of tap into the kind of past and future prologue thing they were doing with the most recent gen, and they just said, okay, let's do something similar where this war is revived, and here's some more megas just from that effect alone. Like you said, the plot hasn't really shown itself in the trailers, so and again, we are in a bit of a time vacuum here as we're talking here, so it's entirely possible something else has come up in the last month or so, but let's just assume it hasn't, and if we're working off the same knowledge that everyone else has, it's kind of keeping this plot relatively close to its chest, which I quite like, because it is the same with Legends Arceus, and everyone was kind of pleasantly surprised with it, so kind of go to not show your hand too early.
Have you paid much attention to those trailers that were like drilling into, or the people who drilled into the trailers pixel by pixel for any possible hints as to what's coming up?
Weirdly enough, no, actually, and it could be more to the fact that again, this might come as a shock, but Blue Sky's Pokemon community is not quite as vast as Twitter's one was, but it's getting there, it's growing. A lot of the leakers have gone onto Blue Sky lately, so that's it's nice to kind of they're easy to keep track of on that one. Now that
how much do you trust these leakers? Like, did some of the most recent games not like blow all that out of the water that like they were fed false information?
No, a lot of the stuff kind of gets proven after the fact. So it's kind of a case like all these people will pretend to be leakers, and then one person kind of almost is presented of having the correct answer. It's almost like a game in its own right. Like there are one or two like genuine actual leakers, because they're like translators of their like family members of translators, let's say, or words to that effect. Please, if you're part of the FBI, do not take my word for it. I don't want to I don't want to lose my source, but certainly like it would be something along those lines where like, okay, they might not see so much because they're only seeing like say text files, or they're seeing words or whatever, so they wouldn't get the finer points of the plot, plot points, because they're only dealing with translations. However, those are probably the posts that are actually more legitimate, because they're only seeing that little corner, and then when they actually do see the full game, they go, oh, this guy actually that posted 3 months ago was actually correct. And it's just that other people who claim to be leakers get a bit more traction because they're revealing more, let's say, or they're promising more in their leaks. Like I don't recall the Area Zero thing getting really much traction in the leaking. Like I know that like I think there was like mooted kind of discussions about like a final area type of thing, but the whole gimmick of the paradoxes weren't really revealed until like it got really close to it. Now that could be because
those paradoxes seemed so insane in the lead up that I didn't believe it.
Yeah. And I think that was probably more intentional as well. That like it is kind of like a little bit like wedged in almost. But no, to the game's credit, they actually kind of like made it work. It was like, hey, here's a completely new experience. Have at it, and that's kind of what That's kind of what the game needed, really. That's what the whole series needs. Something different, something new.
And I guess it's been a little while since we've had any talk on this, like on channel to kind of track back and forth on this. But like, we had we're on the far side of Pokemon Day now for 2025.
Yes.
So we got seeing what is like we got trailer number 2 for Arceus and sorry, not Arceus, for Legends, and what I think is actually going to be the bigger thing, which is the champions getting put out.
I'm intrigued more by. I'm very intrigued by champions. In fairness, like it literally does just look like someone's like giving Pokemon Showdown an actual game engine, like rather than just being like just all done by text interface. And like what will be kind of interesting is like how it's actually used more than anything else. Like it just seems to be like just an absolute like fucking competitive paradise. I don't think it won't become the hub of competitive play though, because it looks just too open. Like everyone's allowed to play in it, whether it be your phone or anything else. Now that's not to say competitive play couldn't open up its gates to absolutely everybody, but
I would hope that this for competitive moves.
Say that again, James. Sorry.
I really hope this is for competitive moves too.
I hope so too. Like I do. I would like to see it not be just bound to a game. But again, that also then begs the question, like, well, okay, where with like some of the side games like the Legends ZA and stuff like that, like if something like new pops up in that and it's completely broken, how does that play well with everyone else? You know,
Absolutely.
I think it'd be a case where like there has to be a mainstream game mechanic that counts as competitive, and then everything else is kind of like its own category. Like if you wanted to, again, we've said this before, like if you wanted to play Gen 1 style, where you know there's no special split, and your speed is linked to critical hits, that could be very fucking chaotic, because I'm sure there's loads of Pokemon that will then suddenly become monsters because of that. Like I'm thinking, like
slacking without abilities.
Well, yeah, that too, actually, yes. Even except I'm thinking like that bug Pokemon, a Selgar, doesn't have like Fury Cutter or something. So like you just start building up that Fury Cutter after 5 moves, and then it cannot be physically beaten. You know, because it's going to outspeed everybody, and it's going to be able to take anything down with a Fury Cutter if the types match up.
But I'd also hope that this would like take the competitive nature out of the main games. Main games can be a silly little story about how you've friended your one and only creature you're allowed to have in this game, which is going to be your starter. And then that could be a game in itself. You and your starter being just the two of you. Make a game like Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu, where Pikachu is your one and only thing that you have. And then it doesn't matter to like say, well, yeah, competitive is still competitive. Go over there and play it if you want.
Interesting thought, actually. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'd be interesting. I don't know if you can actually do a mainstream Pokemon game without that degree of battling. You still need a bit of competition, a bit of progression in the sense. And again, it kind of feels true to the whole premise of the game. You want to become the top trainer. You want to become the number one, the champion, or whichever. And you haven't really seen that drastic change in the formula, even throughout all the other, like, you know, they're like, here's a land with no gym leaders. Here's a land with, like, you know, like pick, like go nuts and pick whichever leader you want first. That type of thing. Like there's still one or two kind of central things that they haven't really messed with. And probably for good reason, because like there's no real good substitutes for that type of like plot advancement. You know, like you can't really do like you can't really kind of go do a Minecraft and do like, you know, here's the satisfaction of a job well done. It's like it's you know it's a different type of game. You know, would I like to see a different Pokemon project do that? I think that would be great. But I think with the mainstream ones, I think you have to kind of cater to everyone anyway.
You can see what ZA is going to put out, which is putting in like a real-time battle, running around and dodging, avoiding. They can now do that because, hey, if you don't like that, then your 4-move battle style that's still there for you on champions.
And I think that's going to work really well. Like again, I think what Pokemon Legends I think can kind of establish as its own thing is by just getting away with changing mainstream mechanics, like like when you had the few when it was with Legends Arceus, it was about like, okay, we're in feudal Japan, let's do it like a martial art in a sense. So like you're slightly tweaking the moves each way. It's like if people don't like it, it's fine. Like it just stays on this game. Do you know what? Actually, kind of similar to this to Pokemon Colosseum. Like there's an actual skill in having to like whittle down your opponent's team in order to isolate the shadow Pokemon and then snag
Oh my
it.
god, it's a shiny Gligar.
Yes, it's fine. We can catch it. Don't worry about it.
Shiny Gligar, best Gligar.
Unfortunately, this is Justy Gligar, and we can't take it. And he is a kind of a gym.
It's mad seeing some of the models that they got wrong in that.
Yeah. It took like 5 years to realize. Ooh, that was the wrong color. Ooh, that. I mean, at least they fixed Jinx in this game. That's something, right?
Wait, which game still has Jinx and Blackface?
Gen 1 and 2, I think, isn't it?
No, I think by the time Crystal came out, Jinx was purple.
Yeah, I was thinking gold and silver. I wasn't sure whether they've changed it at that point or not. I think Pokemon Stadium still has Jinx's blackface. I'm not too sure.
Well, look, in fairness, I don't think they're patching that anymore.
No, I think that ship has sailed somehow. Well, in fairness, it is a virtual version of it, so. And it might become relevant for our tournament this year. More on that later on.
Spoilers.
Yes, indeed.
So, what are your thoughts on the on like being able to run with 2 EVs?
On the starters, did you say, was it?
Yeah.
It's different, certainly. I think it's probably an indication of where the megas are probably going to go. Like I would assume.
Oh no! I was talking about in Colosseum. You've got both your starters out of here.
Oh right, my bad. Sorry. Again, it's something different, isn't it? Like because you're just so used to playing with like grass, fire, or water. Just have to start off with psychic and dark. You're just like you're just picking a different starting point in your type maps. Like it's nice to see something like, I know if I was ever toying with a ROM hack game, I would do something like that differently. Like I would probably go with a different triads that were all like weak to each other. It's like psychic, fighting, and dark is actually a really nice one there. You could go with. Likewise, you might go with like what, Dragon, Steel, Fairy, or something like that.
That second Dragon and Dark wouldn't work as Dark is effective both directions there.
Yeah, exactly. So it just makes things a little bit different, and